So I thought that article was over about Kathy Hochul, and I was wrong. So I kind of made it off the cuff. I just had an impulse. Usually I like to write scripts for videos, but I'm making an exception here. And I was so pissed off when I read the article, I didn't even grab the microphone. So now I got the microphone. I'm going to finish the article, and we're going to learn more about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and a bunch of bullshit. So here we go. A rush transcript A rush transcript of the governor's remarks is available below. Good morning. We have determined, I would love to know who we is. We have determined that the rising level of hate and anti-Semitism in particular. Why in particular? Oh yeah, they're God's chosen people. So if anyone hates them, it's worse than hating anyone else because they're special. That's why they have to wear the special hats. Look at me. In case you didn't know that God chose me, here's my hat to let you know. Look at me. I'm chosen. I'm a special boy. Oh, look at I forget what the hell they call the thing that they put on the door, you know? Oh, look at me. My doorway is special. There's someone down the hallway from me right now. Oh. Okay, anyway. I've gotten 4 words into the article and I'm already rambling. All right. We have determined that the rising level of hate and anti-Semitism in particular poses a clear and present danger to the safety and well-being of all New Yorkers. Really? I don't feel endangered at all. And I don't think anyone that I know in New York feels endangered whatsoever. Zero. What is she talking about? And I, as governor, am doing everything in my power to fight back. I'm joined today by State Police Lieutenant Andy Crow, who will also be speaking in a few moments about our response with respect to counterterrorism efforts. By the way, most anti-Semitic hate incidents are committed by people from that community to get the sympathy, to get the funding. Did you know 94% of Homeland Security grants go to preventing anti-Semitism? They go to bluish, I'm going to use bluish, instead of the other word. They go to blues. They go to bluish people. It gives me the blues. Anyway, let's see. Emergency meeting with Jewish leaders and I said the word. Well, at least I'm reading it. I'm reading it. I'm not speaking. Jewish leaders and law enforcement to discuss strategies. I had the New York strategy. I can't get through one word without women don't know about strategy. Why is the governor of New York Some people are not equipped for strategic thinking. I'll just leave it at that. There are a few exceptions. I think Joan of Arc might have been the last one. Okay. I had the New York State Police Office of Counterterrorism, the MTA Police, the Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, federal law enforcement, including the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Has something to do with anti-religious hate. I'm really confused here. Anyway, as well as religious leaders from various organizations in different parts of the state and clergy as well. What's the difference between a religious leader and clergy? Here's what I share with them. The day that Hamas attacked Israel, October 7th, a day that will live in infamy for Americans, even though it happened to Israel. But they're our greatest ally, so we should mourn. The day that Hamas attacked Israel, for no good reason, October 7th, and the rise in hate crimes began instantaneously. I immediately deployed the state police to be on high alert to protect vulnerable assets. We've had regular disruptions now in our transit terminals, including a major incident at Grand Central over the weekend. And as we approach some of the busiest travel days of the year, I guess this article is before Christmas. Heading into Thanksgiving, way before the holidays. Wow, this is an old article. I just found it. I want to make sure, as I spoke to these leaders in law enforcement, that they have a plan to ensure that our commuters will be able to go about their lives freely without disruption. Oh, really? Then why aren't you keeping criminals locked up? You know, the ones that are setting people on fire and stabbing them, and the ones that have to get choked out because they're threatening to kill people on the train, and they have 87 prior arrests, but somehow they get set free to commit more crimes. Oh, you don't want to do anything about them in order that people feel like they can travel freely? Interesting. Without disruption, right? Yeah, you're doing everything you can to prevent disruption on the subway, right? Sure you are. But it's so much more about than just travel disruptions. It's painful to me as governor of this great state that has been known for its diversity. All right, we've already gone over this. I'll read it again in case I have any new thoughts. It's painful to me as governor of this great state that has been known for its diversity. That's not really what it's known for, actually. No. And for a long time, it wasn't diverse. Well, it might have been diverse, a diverse group of Europeans. Yeah, lots of Irish, lots of Italians, lots of Germans, lots of Dutch. What do those people all have in common? Oh yeah, they're all European. It was a diverse group of Europeans. And that's what made it great, frankly. And it's been going downhill ever since it stopped being so European. Wow, what a coincidence. It's painful to me, blah, 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 diversity, blah, 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 and how we celebrate different cultures, different religions. Some cultures are better than others, by the way. Different religions, different viewpoints. It's painful to see the cruelty with which New Yorkers are treating each other, everywhere from college campuses to our streets to schools to playgrounds, even as they're entering their houses of worship. As I said, that's why, knowing these risks, I immediately deployed the state police to protect our synagogues and yeshivas and mosques and any other place that could be susceptible to hate crimes or violence. We contacted the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to share information about potential threats. If you want to stop hate, get rid of freedom of religion. Religion is just institutionalized hate. It's legally permissible hate. Sanctioned hate. State sanctioned hate. But somehow other people's hate is bad, but their hate is okay. All right. Yeshivas, mosques, hate crimes or violence. We contacted the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to share information about potential threats. I also announced a significant increase in funding for our efforts, $75 million overall, $50 million for local law enforcement to beef up their efforts, as well as $25 million in security grants. Who's really benefiting from all this? This is just money laundering. This is just an excuse to steal more money and spend more money. She doesn't give a shit about. Well, maybe she gives a shit about the synagogues and the yeshivas, because they're probably the biggest financial supporters of her campaign. But she probably doesn't care about the mosques. Any other place that could be susceptible to hate crimes or violence. Oh, $1 million, blah, blah, blah. State police have been out there. They've been embedded with local law enforcement. I've seen it with my own eyes as I visit different places of worship. Again, they're worshiping the most disgusting fictional character. And even if he's not fictional, I still wouldn't worship him. And whether it's here in New York City, it's happening, and I'm grateful for their efforts. Also, we're very focused on the data we're collecting from surveillance efforts. What's being said on social media platforms. Uh-oh, am I a thought criminal? Am I committing a hate crime right now? Oh no, I should shut up. Not. And we have launched an effort to be able to counter some of the negativity and reach out to people when we see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms. Okay, first of all, that's terrible grammar because you are speaking about hate speech. Hate speech being spoken about. No, that's not. You should have just said hate speech when we see hate speech on online platforms. But anyway, apart from you being completely stupid, um, what is hate speech? And what is wrong with it? Have you ever heard of freedom of speech? Why do people need to be talked to? Why do you need to? Are you an American or not? Because there's this thing called the First Amendment, and there's a reason why it's the first, because it's really important. Let's see here. Where was I? We're focused on the data we're collecting. We have launched an effort to be able to counter some of the negativity. Oh, I missed the part, the best part, one of the best parts. Negativity. Counter some of the negativity. That is the government's job, right? Right? That's what they need our money for, is to stop negativity. Okay. Wow. And reach out to people when we see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms. Our media analysis, our social media analysis unit, has ramped up its monitoring of sites Big Brother is watching. This just makes me want to say more. I don't know if they know how like psychology works. I'm less scared because of this. If you're trying to intimidate people like me, good luck. You're going to need to actually torture me. Okay? Or like send some spook. You got to do more than give speeches if you want to intimidate me. I'm not saying I'm not intimidatable. I'm very intimidatable with the right tactics. I'm also very dateable. That's completely unrelated. But yeah, this is not doing it. It's probably working on some pussies out there. There are probably some people who maybe are afraid. Okay, anyway, back to the article. Our media analysis, social media ramped up, blah blah blah. Oh, this is great too. Who does she? Does anyone write these speeches like using a spell check or a grammar? Like, is there an editor? Listen to this. Our media analysis, our social media analysis unit has ramped up its monitoring of sites to catch incitement to violence. Okay, that's fine. Incitement to violence is bad most of the time. Direct threats to others, and all this is in response to our desire, our strong commitment to ensure that not only do New Yorkers be safe, not only do New Yorkers be safe, I think a requirement to be the governor of New York, call me crazy, I think it should be, one of the requirements should be that you can speak English. To ensure that not only do New Yorkers be safe, but they also feel safe because personal security is about everything for them. This woman can't even speak English. She's reading a speech. She's reading off a teleprompter, and she still can't get it right. Anyway, feeling safe. So if someone feels unsafe, that means that someone else committed a crime. So anyone can just say they feel unsafe, and that makes the other person guilty. Okay, got it. As I said, no one walking down the street or in a subway should feel they have to find, to hide, any indication of what their religious beliefs are. Yeah, they should. They should feel that way. Because every religious belief is stupid. And we got to stop mollycoddling these idiots who believe in 3,000-year-old goat herder ideologies. People who didn't even know, they had barely discovered the wheel at this point. They didn't know about electricity. They didn't know about the laws of thermodynamics. They weren't building 2-story houses. These people it's a primitive mindset. We need to grow out of it. It's like, as a civilization, These people are still in the infant stages, while people like me who think with their brains, I'm an adult, and they should be adults too. They're acting like children. They should live in fear because it's people like them that have caused everyone else to live in fear for thousands of years. Religion is the number one culprit behind terrorism in all of history. That's the basis behind all terrorism. Anyway, with very few exceptions. Any indications of what their religious beliefs are. They shouldn't have to hide it, blah, blah, blah. We expect to see people celebrating their lives, walking about freely, and that is no longer the case because people are living in fear. They have a right to do whatever they want here in the state of New York. I could ramble for so long about that. I just got to move past it. It would it would be 20 minutes probably of just talking about how people are not free to do what they want in the state of New York. People are not free at all to do what they want in the state of New York. That's hilarious. Well, it would be hilarious if it wasn't so disgusting and sad. I've asked this group today, is there anything else we can and should be doing? We're doing what we know how to do, but any other ideas? And we've decided that what we've done in activating our hotline to report hate and bias incidences of all kinds. So there's a hotline. This is such ambiguous language. Like, what is a hate incident? Like, an incident? Is it literally an incident of someone hating someone else? Because then you'd have to call the hotline for every single religious person. If you want to stop hate, stop the religion. Once again, our hotline to report hate and bias incidences of all kinds is now being utilized, but there are more platforms and more places we can get that number out to, because people are being subjected to horrible assaults and vile language. And they go back home not sure what to do with that knowledge that they've been violated. I want everyone to know this phone number because I said this is not just an opportunity to say, well, we took care of it, we have a hotline. I said to the law enforcement, I want to make sure that every single complaint is run down and investigated. That's a really great use of resources. So every time, she's saying that every time someone calls and says, someone said something mean to me, that person has to be investigated. So I'm pretty sure that if I saw a bluish person wearing a Star of David and I walked up to them and I said, I see you've got a Star of David so-called there, even though there's no Star of David in the Torah, so it's a misnomer. But anyway, I see you've got that star there. So does that mean that you believe in Yahweh, the psychopathic, mass baby murdering God of the Bible? And if they say yes, I say why. Like, even if I'm cordial, they can call it harassment because, I hate the religion. If I say, I really hate your religion, they'll say, what? You said the H word. I'm going to call the cops on you. This is saying that would be justified, and they would be justified in investigating it and in using state resources to investigate me. Okay. Let's see. Run down and investigated. And if they've crossed the line from hate speech into a hate crime, that there will be prosecutions. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I'm hearing that from so many others, particularly in the Jewish community. Oh, really? That's weird. The people whose religion is victimhood are playing the victim? I've never heard anything like that. I'm so surprised. The people who have made An industry. Look up the Holocaust industry, the book called The Holocaust Industry. The people who have made an industry out of victimhood are attempting to do so again. Oh my God, wow. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like this in my life, she says. I have. And in many lifetimes past, as a student of history, they've done it over and over and over again. We were just hanging out in Egypt minding our own business, and then the Pharaoh enslaved us. We didn't do anything wrong. It was for no reason. We didn't cause a famine or anything. Moving on, particularly in the Jewish community. Our college campuses, students have been targeted. No, they haven't. Show me. Every incident I've heard of, the closest thing was one girl who pretended she got stabbed in the eye with a little Palestine flag. But she didn't even have a mark on her eye. Okay. Anyway. But she was terrified. Students have been targeted. You heard me talk about what I witnessed at Cornell. I don't know what you witnessed at Cornell. You probably didn't witness anything. And a message was sent that day and the day after when I said, we'll make sure that all perpetrators of these crimes, threats, incitement to violence, calling on others to kill other Jewish students, perpetrators will be stopped and prosecuted, and the perpetrator in that case is now behind bars. I really would like to know the details of this case. These are young people who are vulnerable. They should not be living in fear. Here in New York City, we've had a huge spike in anti-Semitic incidences. I know that they're underreported. Underreported? Okay. Yeah. Vastly overreported. Anyway, hate crimes against Muslims are also being underreported. That is not how we can deal with them. We need the public to step forward. If you've been violated, you've been harassed, physically, verbally, you have to let us know so we can step up and protect you. Oh, like you protect all the people who are being harassed physically, verbally on the train, for example, on the subway. Almost every time that happens, it's someone who has multiple prior arrests. They belong behind bars, but you let them go free because crime is a tool for control and an excuse to militarize the police and to increase the police presence. Unbelievable. Step up and protect you, she says. That's what she wants to do. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. In New York, by the way. The increase in anti-Semitic crimes is up 214% since October 7th. See, she's using the word crimes there, but I'm pretty sure she means incidents. And it's just, even if she said incidents, it would still be lying, I'm sure. But well, actually, maybe not, because people are waking up to what's going on in Israel. Sadly, I had been, or I should say Palestine, and sadly, I had been convening groups over the past 2 years to talk about the increase year to year over the last 3 years as well. In September, we convened a group of individuals and talked about what we can do to deal with the rise in hate crimes on college campuses and other places, all before the floodgates were open on October 7th. We've not seen this level of hate crimes and fear since September 12th, 2001. September 12th, 2001. Oh, you mean the day after Israel destroyed the Twin Towers? Huh. And yet, I bet there was a lot more anti-Islamic hate than anti-bluish hate, because the bluish media said it was Muslims that did it. People are concerned. They're worried. And today, I'm going to continue. Oh, let me just explain, in case anyone is like, what's he talking about? Israel did it? No, it was Muslims. Muslims hate our freedom and they crashed planes. Who got all the money? All the insurance money? Silverstein. Oh yeah, there's an Arab name. Um, who benefited from U.S. intervention, U.S. invasions since then? All the countries that have been weakened, that have been toppled, their leaders dethroned. These are all countries that could have challenged Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu even said, we have benefited from the attacks on September 11th. He said sometimes countries need to be bombed into going to war. And then there's the dancing Israelis, and you could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So I won't, but I could. And people have. Look up Christopher Bolin if you want more. Bollyn. You're not going to find it on YouTube, probably. Let's see. People are concerned. People are concerned. They're worried. And today I'm going to continue taking any step I can to increase the security of our individuals, our members of the New York State community. Today I'm announcing that I'm deploying additional state police personnel to the task force. We already been over this. The high-level task force investigates international terrorism threats, domestic threats, cyber threats. And need I remind everyone that we have borders here in the state of New York, a northern border, a western border that are protected by federal law enforcement, but resources are constrained. That's why we're working with local officials, state police, and others to make sure that our borders are protected. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? First of all, what does this have to do with the previous topic? What does border security have to do with? Okay, anyway, but no, you're not protecting your borders. You're importing millions and millions and millions of third worlders. Maybe not into New York. Well, I don't know. As far as the numbers, I'm saying millions and millions. Maybe it's 1 million. Maybe it's 2 million. It's way too many. It wasn't that long ago that the perpetrators of the 9/11 attacks came through a border from Canada. Oh, okay. She's kind of connecting the dots here, but still not really. Through Western New York and came to the city to do harm. Yeah, but it wasn't. Even if you believe the story, it wasn't a religious thing. It wasn't Muslims attacking Christians or attacking Jews. They were attacking America for being American. Ostensibly, that's the story, right? It had nothing to do. So it wasn't a hate crime really necessarily. Anyway, we must be vigilant. We must protect against that scenario from ever happening again in our state. And by having state police investigators embedded with every operation, every FBI counterterrorism effort throughout the state, it's a large state, we have to make sure that they know we have the full support of the state police behind them, and they can use intelligence to help us get down to the local law enforcement. Now, the counterterrorism squads in New York, Buffalo, Albany, Rochester will all have state police investigators. This will give us greater visibility into the investigations that are unfolding, because I'd rather any day of the week, instead of talking about solving crimes, be in the business of preventing crimes. And that's what this is all about. You are a criminal. You are a criminal. You are not at all interested in preventing crimes. You release criminals regularly to allow them purposely to do more crimes. Crime is a social engineering, social control tool of the state. You love criminals. That's why you imported so many of them. Or did you vet? Did you do a background check on all of the illegal immigrants? They're criminals just by being there. They're breaking the law by entering illegally. Be in the business of preventing crimes, and that's what this is all about. We must continue to work together. If anyone thinks that they can get away with spreading hate and harming other New Yorkers and violating the law, you will be caught. Okay, we've been over this. Apparently, spreading hate, harming other New Yorkers, and violating the law are all the same thing. You will be caught if you do any of those things. So if I explain these people's religion to someone who doesn't know about them, and as a result, they say, "Wow, I really hate that religion." Am I going to be caught? Will you catch me? You will be caught here in the state of New York because we are ramping up our resources to ensure that everyone can live freely. Already addressed that outrageous claim. We have been involved in this. We'll protect protected speech. We'll protect protected speech. What? No, you're saying that you won't protect protected speech. I feel like my brain is melting or something. Like, it's how can people even talk like this? How can you take yourself seriously, contradicting yourself so blatantly? Like, wow. We will not protect people committing hate crimes. Not here in Manhattan, not in any borough, not in any one of the 62 counties, not on a college campus, not in a house of worship. Once again, worship of a very, very hateful, almost inconceivably hateful deity. Yahweh, God, Hashem, Allah, whatever. We'll make sure that everyone has resources to make sure that they are safe. And with that, I'd like to bring up Lieutenant Colonel Andy Crow, the Assistant Deputy Superintendent for the Office of Counterterrorism, to talk more about our efforts to keep New York State what we expect New Yorkers to do in reporting, and to really look out for each other. I want to get back to that time, that space, where New Yorkers can trust each other, be friends on a college campus again, be friends at a playground, in a workplace. Let's get back to the commonality that we've always shared, blah, 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 throughout our history as New Yorkers. Treat each other with respect and kindness. Can't make this shit up. And we will get through this together, I am confident. But we also make sure that we protect the well-being of our citizens. And that's why I'd like to introduce the state police right now to say a few words. Just as an aside, we really increased our capacities for surveillance as well as responding to terrorist threats in the aftermath of the Buffalo massacre that occurred on May 14th, 2022. We added more resources to the operations of Lieutenant Crow, the counterterrorism efforts to, again, try to thwart the actualization of these threats, as we were not able to do, was not occurring with the Buffalo situation. But we have seen other cases where that early warning signal can go off. You can see something that allows you to intervene before we have a disaster happen. Okay. If you see something, say something, is basically what they're saying. So I think I need to call this hotline and let them know that there are two religions, three, all the Abrahamic religions really, but two in particular that are especially hateful, and they need to investigate. They need to go to the mosques and the synagogues and do some investigation about the hatred within their holy scriptures. Fuck these people, man. Thanks for listening.